Hello, welcome to the Citrus Garden. If you're new here, my name is Christina. If you're not new here, welcome back. This is a reading for Aquarius sun signs, or if you have significant Aquarius placements and are needing a masculine energy to work with or balance within yourself, then this reading is for you. First of all, happy birthday to all my Aquarians out there. I hope it is wonderful and that you receive many blessings. So we're going to get started with your reading. It's a quite interesting one. I mean, I always say that. I think they're all interesting readings, but yours today feels like you're moving out of a very sort of dark place, because all of the animal cards that we have here, they're all these sort of dark energies, right? Like in the darkness, I mean, like it's like whatever energies you're in now, the circumstances that you're in now, feels like there's been like a lot of uncertainty recently, but it's like you're moving out of this is what I'm seeing here very quickly. I feel like there's something here, especially with the raccoon, because I feel like that's the most dominant energy out of all of these, is that there's almost a bit of like I see this as sort of like a shyness or like a reluctance to step out into the light is kind of how this is feeling, perhaps because of this energy, the hyena and the scorpion. So the hyena comes through with sort of like the energy of like almost like putting on laughter when it's like when on the inside, like it's a defense mechanism energy, especially because it's coming out with the scorpion. So it's like I feel like you, Aquarius, are kind of in this energy of difficulty, especially because we have here like these three cards, difficulty and confusion with the Seven of Cups and the Three of Swords. But it's like you're making the best of it, right? You're putting on like your brave face is kind of how this is feeling, which is positive, because I feel like it's leading you towards like you're moving out of this energy is kind of how this is feeling, especially with this jeweled web and the hollow bone teachability. So this deck, I've been staying away from this deck because it's so powerful. Like it's like this deck, whenever I use it, it just pulls me right in. Like I can feel like it almost has like a life of its own. It's kind of this. Anyways, I don't know why I'm talking about the deck. It feels like it might be something related to you, Aquarius, where it's kind of like there's something I feel like you're being led towards, something really, really powerful that you're being called towards. And it's like but there may be a reluctance, right, with the raccoon, because it's like, you know, that if you go in this direction, it's going to absolutely draw you in. I feel like, especially with the teachability and the connectivity, right? It could be like a specific connection, maybe. And it's like, it just feels incredibly intense, right? It feels like if you were to go in this direction, it would be like a really big kind of, you would be learning a lot is kind of how this is feeling. Like it would be like a really big sort of learning opportunity or something like that. It's a big sort of mental, perhaps, kind of paradigm shift is what I was hearing. But it's like the thing about this energy, it kind of feels like if you were to go towards it, if you were to learn more, it would change so much about what it is that you know so far, that might be the thing that's sort of holding you back. But I feel like it's kind of like it's pushing you forward. It's pulling you, because, okay, the first two cards, because I feel like you are moving towards that. You've already sort of been called or been drawn into this energy is kind of how this is feeling. The first card out you have here is the Dust Devil, moving out of stagnation, which is really good news. I don't know how many readings recently the first card out has been the Devil, but this one's just the dust, right? It's not anything sort of solid. It's moving out of this energy, which is really good news, because you also have here the Sun and the Bee, which I really love, because the Sun is all this clarity, right? It's like all of the animal cards in the context of the reading was darkness. So it's like you are moving into the sunlight. And what I love about these two cards together, I really love the Bee, because it's all of this sort of like a really positive energy in terms of like what you do for work, or like the effort that you put in kind of thing. Like all the things that you do with joy and sweetness and gratitude and happiness. It's that kind of energy. So it's like you're moving out of a stagnation energy and moving into sort of like this, like almost like an innocent exploration is kind of how this is feeling. But what I love here is that in this dust devil, there's this like yellow orb in the middle, right? Which is representing your solar plexus, especially with the bee coming out. It's almost like you're clearing all of this dust around you, right? All of this sort of, it almost feels like illusion, right? It's like all of anything in your environment that's needing to go, right? Like perhaps doing like spring cleaning or something like that, right? It's like all of this old energy is leaving, and it's what it's revealing is this sort of solar plexus energy, which is like your ability to move forward or move towards whatever it is that you're going towards. It feels very lovely and sweet and like just like freedom from burden is kind of how this is feeling, which I love because I feel like there was some sort of like call, right? That especially with the hollow bone, there's some sort of call that you're answering with the temperance and the judgment, and with the Princess of Wands, which talks about exploration. So it's like there's been some sort of call from this energy, right? Something that's incredibly powerful, and it's like once you get into it, it's like you can't ignore it, right? It's like that's why perhaps there's been sort of a hesitation or something like that, because you know that as soon as you go in this direction, it's like you're in it. It's kind of like you can't ignore it once you're there. And I feel like, especially because you have the crow, this crow has been coming out so much in the last couple of weeks, or the last week, I want to say, last week. So the crow always appears for me when there's trickiness in a situation, right? You have to use a lot of discernment. You have to use a lot of like very clear thinking and creativity and cleverness is how I see the crow, because the situation you're in involves sort of like, it's feeling like a puzzle almost, like a puzzle or like a riddle that you have to solve, something like that. So it requires all of your creativity, all of your cleverness, all of your resourcefulness perhaps as well with the crow. And what's so interesting here, it's coming out with this energy, the heart home and the compassion. So how I'm seeing this today is actually kind of like, I watched the OA recently, a TV show on Netflix. And in the second season, there's this, it's basically, the whole storyline is centered around this like mysterious house, right? And it's a house that protects some sort of like mystical experience or like a stream. Anyway, I feel like that part doesn't matter. But what was interesting about this house is that the whole thing was like a puzzle, right? It was a riddle, and only like in order to protect something. And so there's something here about like, but I feel like this is almost your heart, right? This is your heart. There's some sort of riddle or puzzles surrounding your heart that are perhaps even hidden to you is kind of how this is feeling. And so in that storyline, one of the main characters, he kept being drawn towards this house and like went in, but to a point it was like, it was kind of dangerous. There were energies in there that were not pleasant and could potentially cause harm. And so but it came to a point in that season where he could not ignore the draw and the call of this house anymore. He actually, because he was the one who was meant to solve the puzzle, right? There was all of this sort of like, he was the only one that could solve this puzzle. And so it's like something like that. It's like there's a call for you to go towards this heart home, perhaps even within your own self, right? Like within your own heart, to solve all of these puzzles within it in order to unlock some sort of truth is kind of how it's coming through with the rose window. It was a truth, like once you sort of got to the top, the peak of this once you solve the puzzle, once he solved the puzzle in that story, he got to the rose window and saw some sort of truth that sort of shattered all of the kind of things that he knew. And not everybody makes it out of this, is kind of how this is feeling. But I feel like you absolutely will. It's kind of like, because it's calling you. It's yours. This thing is yours. This thing is calling you towards it to unlock like the secrets or the puzzles of it. Which is so interesting. You also have here the owl and the Eight of Pentacles, dedication, right? It would take a lot of perhaps time and investment is kind of how this is feeling with the moon cycles. It would take a lot of time and investment, dedication, right? But it's like with the owl here, because so far all of your animal signs in the reading part they're all air signs, right? It would perhaps take a lot of like mental focus or just like all of your sort of, I don't know why it's coming out with like riddle solving or puzzle solving kind of abilities, right? Like all of your mental abilities in order to solve whatever this riddle is. And it feels like it's like your own riddles, your own heart, like what it is that you desire, right? What it is that your heart desires, perhaps something like that, because you have here the Nine of Wands, which is all of this sort of like, these are the puzzles, right? These are all the, and if you want to talk about it in less of a metaphorical way, it's kind of, the Nine of Wands is somebody who's encountered a lot of disappointments, right? There's been a lot of battles. And so in response to those sort of battles or disappointments or wounds or hurts, they've put up a lot of boundaries or puzzles or riddles for others to solve. So it's kind of like a blocked off or a closed off energy because of the disappointments. And so it's like this, your heart, let's say, your heart has become so protected, right? You've done so much to protect your heart that it's almost like it's become foreign to you now. It's kind of how this is feeling. And so it's kind of, it's what this energy is talking about, is to like, you have to go back into this energy, your own heart, and unlock the puzzles of it, because you're the only one who can do that, right? No, you're the only one who knows exactly how to dismantle all of these puzzles in order to get to the truth, right? It will take dedication as well. Dedication to yourself is kind of how this is feeling. And what's so interesting here is that you have the joyful muse, inspiration, and the dragonfly, and also the King of Wands, leadership. So this was kind of feeling like another person, because the dragonfly to me represents a very significant soul connection in many different ways, because they're coming out with leadership and because of this teachability energy. Feels like somebody who's helping teach you how to do this, right? Because it may just be that you're not sure how, especially because you're coming out more with the Page of Wands, which is talking about exploration, right? Like you're just starting out on this sort of journey. It kind of feels like a guide or something like that, because with this Joyful Muse card, it was really feeling like Alice in Wonderland, right? It's like, in order for you to go down this path, you would have to like leave everything that you're familiar with and almost go into like this fantasy land where nothing is familiar, right? There's all of this sort of unknown kind of energy, and it's like this one here, they're so like laid back, right? They're very laid back and almost just like, I don't know, it feels like perhaps they're giving you signs, or they're giving you a path to follow, perhaps. But it's kind of like, perhaps there's something maybe that is uncomfortable about their energy with this one, the Joyful Muse, inspiration, because it's kind of like they're, whatever it is that you're going through, especially with this energy, it feels difficult, right? It's not easy what you're going through. But it's kind of like they're coming in with a lot of like playfulness is kind of how this is feeling. So the energies are not a match is kind of how this is feeling, because you're in a place where it's like you're feeling, it feels heavy. It feels like, but that's what you're moving out of, right? It's like this one's coming in because it's like you're connecting with this sort of solar plexus energy within yourself that is taking more joy, right? It's like you're moving into this energy, this bee, which is so much more light and playful than that previous energy of like the dark, the raccoon, the scorpion, all of that kind of like heaviness. So you're moving into this energy, and this one's coming in to help you because they can see that. But it's like their energy feels like almost like they're like making fun or poking fun or making light of your situation, if that makes sense. That's just their method of delivery is kind of how this is feeling. They're just more laid back, right? Perhaps they don't take things seriously. I don't know. Maybe it's not that quite, but it's like their energy just feels more like nonchalant is kind of how I'm feeling that. Okay, but then you have here the magician's sword, confidence in your magic, which I really love, especially with the cosmic egg, right? Because this is what you're going towards, right? Awakening of the crown. Because in that whole story, it's like the only reason why that character in the OA was able to solve that house puzzle was because he was meant to, right? It was his sort of gift. He had this sort of like, I don't know, like mind or gift that was able to solve all the puzzles and reach that sort of enlightenment stage is kind of how I'm seeing this. So you absolutely have this ability. And what this one, and whoever this King of Wands energy is, what they're showing you is like perhaps through almost like, it almost feels like like nudging you into action, perhaps through almost like a very playful kind of energy. They're nudging you into action in order for you to connect with this aspect of yourself is kind of how this is feeling. And it's like, because what it is that they're trying to awaken within you is this energy, the Eight of Pentacles and the Four of Wands, right? Building a solid foundation, right? Building your home, that kind of thing, or home within yourself, because all of this energy feels like it's like connecting with your inner being or your true heart or something like that. They're trying to help you to get rid of all that sort of stagnation energy that's keeping you in the darkness, metaphorically, and they're trying to get you to be more in the sunlight is kind of how this is feeling, right? They're coming in with a lot of compassion, and again with the heart home, right? They are wanting to help you get to a more solid place, right? It's like you have all of this ability within yourself. They're trying to get you here, the Emperor. So I'm seeing this as being like an awakening of perhaps your masculine energies, right? Because this is a masculine energy reading, right? So it could be that you're needing sort of like, especially with the Magician's Sword as well, as these are all very masculine energies. It feels like they're wanting to awaken some aspect of your masculine energy, regardless of what gender you are. Everyone has masculine energies within them. And so it's like there's something here about they're trying to get you to like pull, like King Arthur with the sword, Excalibur, right? They're wanting you to take the sword to solve the puzzle, to like claim your title or your role or whatever it is. Like connect with this Emperor aspect of yourself. And with this Judgment card here, because you have Judgment twice in your reading today, which is very much a significant call to action. But because it's like a swan looking at its own reflection, I feel like it's talking about this energy, whoever this guide is for you, they're asking you to take a look in the mirror, is kind of how this is feeling. To look at yourself through perhaps a different lens, or how they're seeing you, or something like that. They're trying to get you to look into your own heart, perhaps, or to like solve the puzzles that you've surrounded, all of the guards that you've put around your heart, right? They're asking you to take a look at that, because there's something in there of something there for you to learn or know, or whatever it is, in order to get what it is that you're manifesting, right? Because you're absolutely manifesting something. You have a goal, right? It's like perhaps you have a goal, but perhaps you're not seeing how to get to the goal, right? You're not seeing how to get towards what it is that you want. And so this one's coming in to be like, the answer's here. Now, I've been getting so much Lion King imagery recently. This is the energy of like Simba's wanting to see his father again, right? So then he goes, so Rafiki, who is this King of Wands, right? The one who like knocks Simba on the head, right? Joyful Muse. Rafiki's energy is so playful compared to like Simba's seriousness, right? Like there's that kind of energy where it's like your father, or your whatever it is that you're seeking is here, and he tells him to look in the reflecting pond. And so what he sees is his own reflection. That's what this energy is. Whatever it is that this one's trying to show you is some sort of reflection, is to look in yourself, look inward, in order to find what it is that you're looking for. That's what they're trying to show you. And then I feel like after that, because you have here the Strength card, right? Which is talking all about that sort of control of self, right? Understanding of self. Understanding of self is what it is that you will be gaining in this situation, which I really love. And it's like, I feel like from there, that's when you can start building whatever it is that you're looking for. So you have the Ace of Discs, the wealth, the Four of Pentacles, the Seven of Pentacles. So it's kind of like, cause it's like, I feel like it's something about like the fact that whatever it is that you're trying to build, the seeds have already been planted, is kind of how this is feeling. So it's kind of like you're trying to search for new ways in which or if it's not that, it's like you're trying to complete some sort of manifestation, let's say, right? But there may be sort of, I feel like what this energy, this Joyful Muse energy is trying to say is that you already have all of it. You already have all of it. It's already here. It's already complete. It's already done. You're just waiting until they actually blossom, is kind of how this is feeling, right? Have confidence in your magic. Have confidence that what it is that you're trying to manifest is here already. It's kind of just like you just have to claim it and let it in. I'm not sure what that means. But I feel like it's purposely trying to be... This energy is purposely trying to be playful. They're trying to get you to figure it out yourself, is what this is saying, right? Like because you're the only one who can unlock those puzzles. You're the only one who can unlock it. They're just here to sort of give you a tap on the head and say, you can do, like, it's right there. It's inside of you. Okay, Aquarius, I'm gonna leave it there. I'm gonna move to the extended. The link for that's in the description box below. If this message resonated with you, please subscribe, like, leave a comment. Thank you so much for sharing your energy with me, and I will see you in the next one. Have a good day.